Welcome back. Time is 7:42. President Donald Trump says he's planning to pardon TV stars Todd and Julie Grizzly. The duo, famous for the reality TV show Grizzly, knows best.
In 2022, the Grizzlies were convicted of conspiring to defraud banks in the Atlanta area out of more than $30 million with fraudulent loans. They were also found guilty of tax evasion by hiding their earnings, while at the same time showcasing a luxurious lifestyle that included cars, designer clothes, and real estate plus travel.
The move continues a pattern of Trump pardoning some high-profile friends, supporters, donors, and former staffers. Queen City News Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes joins us to talk about the latest pardon, what it could mean for future cases. Khalif knows best as well this morning. All right, Khalif, this is not unusual to see pardons with celebrities, sports figures, stuff like that. Does it, when it comes to financial issues like fraud or tax evasion, does that set any kind of dangerous precedent?
It doesn't. I mean, we've seen the gamut of folks become pardoned with presidents in the past. I mean, it's the timing of these that is probably the most interesting. Normally, you'd have a president that pardons folks, specifically these kind of celebrity type of high profile, and I wouldn't even consider these folks high profile, but new age high profile celebrities that are reality TV stars. This would typically be towards the end, that last minute, you know, I'm about to leave office and I'll just throw out a whole bunch of pardons. But this is not something that was unexpected. He talked about before how he wants folks that are supporters, people that are trustworthy, people that are committed to him. So their daughter spoke at the convention. She talked about how she was, you know, a lifelong Trump supporter, that she was, you know, earned that as a badge of honor when the prosecutor called her parents, you know, the Trumps of the South. She said they thought it was an insult. She said, thought it was a compliment. Those are the types of things that tip your hand to knowing that at some point, if President Trump was elected, that this would be, you know, the writing was on the wall, just how long it would take. And so I didn't see this coming this fast, but anticipated these folks were supporters. They are vocal supporters. Yeah, pardon was down the road.
Well, so the pair, they're serving 12 and 7 years respectively for this $30 million tax evasion and fraud. I guess he was saying that this was a weaponized DOJ from the Biden administration, right? So was that sentence appropriate for the crime, or should it have been even more? Because some people are saying $30 million, that's a lot of money.
Could have been significantly more. I mean, they were facing up to 15 to 20 years each. The issue with the wife's sentence first is that the Court of Appeals said that the lower court got it right. They should have been convicted. That portion is right, but they miscalculated in terms of the amount of time that she should have had, because they gave her accountability for all of the $30 million, and it shouldn't have been. But for his term, it could have been up to 20 years. And so when you're going into these sentencing, the federal government is structured sentencing. So you'll have a U.S. attorney asking for it to be right on par with the structured sentencing. You can have the defense attorney asking for the court to do something called to go to a deviation, go away from, underneath the structured sentencing. And then the judge on their own could go above the structured sentencing and say, you know what, I think this case is worse. So you walk into these types of cases hopefully knowing that I got a range where my client will be sentenced, but the judge can say, well, thank you for your consideration, but I'm going to go an upward departure or a downward departure. It really just depends on the case by case. But these types of crimes are the ones that folks try to make it seem like there's nothing that happened, but because they're white collar crimes, right? They're victimless crimes. Well, you defrauded banks. That means you got $30 million that other folks that rightfully should have received this money didn't get. So we can't minimize the criminality of their crime, but it does go to show that the president does not respect these types of crimes. Even when these folks were on trial, they talked about how this prosecutor was a Biden supporter, how this jury that convicted them was a county, one of the most Democratic counties in the country. And so those are the types of things where you're talking about weaponizing, not just weaponizing the Department of Justice, but weaponizing even the judicial system and making it seem like the judicial system is against you. And if you can make that you versus me narrative win, specifically in the political realm, then you can find success. And I believe that's what happened in this case.
Khalif, as you mentioned at the beginning, we have seen pardons from the Clinton administration, the George Bush Sr. administration, pardoning people charged with crimes, and it's almost like a quid pro quo. We've also seen it with this most recent one. Also, Sheriff Scott Jenkins, his mom went to $1 million fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. After doing that, then her son gets a pardon from the Trump administration. Is there an issue, do you feel like, with almost, okay, you pay me money, I pardon your crime? It
would seem like it would have the appearance, right, of a pay-to-play scheme. Looking at the thing down in Atlanta, the Fonnie Willis thing, when the judge said it has the odor of mendacity, right? That's similar to this, where it seems like there's nothing on the books that say you can't pay for a pardon, right? But it would seem like you wouldn't want to have that precedent. Article 2, Section 2 says the presidential power to pardon is there with the executive. Alexander Hamilton recommended that this be something that be placed in our Constitution. There was great debate about the Senate having a pardon, and specifically for this reason, because you didn't want to have one individual having the opportunity to be able to be potentially have his ability to pardon be purchased. But there's nothing illegal about that allegation. If that was what occurred, that, hey, I went to your event and I made a relationship with you, and now because of that relationship, now you know who my son is, and now my son gets a pardon. I mean, some would say that's how business works. But these types of pardons, again, typically would not happen at this time.
Right.
They would happen towards the end. But if you are empowered where you have both House and Senate, and you're not really worried about running again, you can pardon as many folks you want. Last presidential term for Trump, 150. I'd anticipate there'll be more folks in this administration than the last one.
All right, Khalif, thanks so much. We've got many more topics with you throughout the morning, so don't go far.